Well, I suppose, but at the end of the day, it's not about us. It never was. It's about them.
I've been really privileged to travel with a group of young people around Australia for about 8 or 9 months now, and I've seen them connect with young people across our country in all kinds of locations and places. They bring their passion, their enthusiasm, their leadership ability, and in a very real sense, I think that's what World Youth Day is about. It's actually about young people connecting with other young people. We're actually seeing young people share the gospel and rediscover its potential as good news for their peers. And that's why I'm excited about World Youth Day. I think that's why it's such an important thing to be involved with, because we will see a change in our country and in our church in particular, like we haven't seen before. Why would World Youth Day be an important thing for our church? Look no further than the young people who are involved in that. Young people getting excited and involved in the life of the church, passionate about their faith, and who actually can take up responsibility and leadership. When they get up and they share their faith with other young people, they inspire them, they encourage them, and they convince them that there's something really important happening in our church. I think Days in the Diocese is really exciting because the people who come from overseas and spend all the money that's required to get there, to come to Australia, are going to be young people who really are inspirational, who are passionate about their faith, and that's going to be contagious, whether they speak English or not. Their commitment to their faith is going to reach and connect with the young people that they meet, the families that they stay with right across our diocese. So the potential for that to have a great ripple effect through our diocese is hard to underestimate. Secondly, I think too, it's a great celebration of the universality of the church, that we actually get a really tangible experience of being part of a worldwide family. And we need that. We need to be reminded from time to time that we're part of something much bigger than ourselves. Young people especially need it, but we all need it. I think our priests and our principals, RECs, have an incredible role to play because they're in key positions of mentoring and guidance for our young people. And so it's not a case of doing something for young people in this case or in this instance. It's actually about getting on board in leading them and encouraging them to take up their place in the life of the church. If we allow that to happen, if we let young people have their head for a bit with some appropriate guidance and mentoring, then we're actually going to see wonderful things. I think it'd be tragic to look back on World Youth Day 5 years from now and say that he was one of the most significant things, arguably the most important thing that happened to the church in Australia in its history, and certainly in our lifetimes, and look back and say we didn't give it everything we could. I think that, that God will have his way, that the Spirit works in surprising and mysterious ways, but we are called to play our part, and it'd be tragic to look back and say we didn't give this everything we had, because it actually has the potential to rejuvenate our church. From time to time I talk with priests about World Youth Day, and they particularly talk about the absence of young people in the pews on a Sunday. And I can hear in their voices just perhaps a note of, well, World Youth Day could even pass my parish by and I wouldn't notice the difference. I guess I'd want to say that I just don't think that that's the case, that I see such hope for our church through World Youth Day, that it can actually touch every parish, that it can impact upon every school community, that there's no place in any aspect of the life of the church that can't be affected by the impact of World Youth Day. So when I look around, and as I've travelled, it's been such a dry time in our country, like I've seen the effects of drought everywhere, and I've often thought how people consider that to be a spiritual reality too, that it's been a tough time, a dry time in the life of our church, and we see the statistics and all those sorts of things. And I guess what I would want to say is I see such signs of vitality. I see new life emerging in all kinds of places, sometimes in the most unlikely of spots. And I see there perhaps just a little parable or a little symbol of what is possible. For those who find it difficult to imagine a church that is alive with young people, I say wait and see.